Today's video is going to be on spring rolls. Simple spring rolls of a more traditional style. I'm not going to cover everything that I did in the first spring roll video because, quite frankly, I don't want to do it over again and make it any longer than it needs to be. So this one's going to be unique. It's going to be a variation on what you've seen before. The first one, if you recall, was using deer, and deer being a game animal often has in its sausage a little more salt. So I used a little stronger sauce. We'll modify the sauce a little bit for this one. In fact, I'll just tell you why. As we lighten up the flavors, we're going to have a little lighter sauce to go with it. There's all kinds of different sauces. Mine are not perfect in any way. They're not, there's no protocol for when you might use one or the other, but because deer is a game animal, has a little stronger flavor. Some animals are stronger than others depending on what part of the recipe that you take them. And so I use a little stronger flavor sauce. Now I'm going to give you a recipe now for an alternate version. It's going to be slightly modified as you're always tweaking depending on what it is you're doing. Now, basically, get yourself a little jar like this so that you can do a little shake, keep it in the refrigerator, and it'll save you some trouble next time. The base recipe for this is 1/2 cup fish sauce. You want to use a good fish sauce, like a number 1. I'll show you a little cut in a minute, maybe, to show you what a number 1 looks like. It should be on the label. And if you have any questions, ask your vendor for it. Is this a good fish sauce, or is this more of a cooking fish sauce? So 1/2 cup fish sauce, 1/2 cup water, 3/4 cup I use light corn syrup for the sugar to sweeten it a little bit, and 1 cup apple cider vinegar. And that'll give you a fairly mild flavored sauce. Also add about, I don't know, 1/2 tablespoon of red pepper and fresh chopped garlic. It's about maybe 4 good cloves of garlic, fresh garlic, put that in there. Chop and add a little bit of peanuts in there just for tradition, and of course salt at the taste. And the salt's the very last thing you want to add in there because that's the very last ingredient. If you add a little more fish sauce, a little less fish sauce, maybe your brand is a little saltier or vice versa. So I don't want to give you exact proportions on there. But I'll give you a little graphic there for you to have gotten a base idea, and you can jot them down. Now, let's get on with it. Now this spring roll is going to be a little bit different than the last one. We're going to lighten up the flavor. Instead of using the venison sausage, we're going to use at the heart of it this imitation crab meat. And they're the stick kind, and what we'll do is we'll split it down the middle and make 2 rolls per stick of crab. Use an English cucumber. You can do skin on, skin off, whichever way you prefer. I'm going to do skin off to make it a little easier to chew. And also what that will do, I use the English cucumbers because they're long and thin and I don't have to deal with the seeds or anything like that, and it works out really well. That's just a personal preference. Brown mushroom, a little shredded carrot. Again, I cheat, I get mine pre-shredded. Cilantro, and at the heart of this is going to be a thin rice noodle, and we have to prep that. So without any further ado, let's get on with the noodles. Now step number 1 to doing the noodles is we're going to find us a pan. This is a little, I don't want to give you the brand, but it's just a basic in the grocery store type of plastic pan with a snap-on lid, very thin walled, and it's just long enough to hold our noodles. And our noodles are very thin, and they will get reconstituted very quickly. See, that is just a little light dude. What we're going to do is we're going to take the fish sauce. Now remember I told you something about fish sauce coming in different grades. Let me see, it's on here somewhere. There it goes. All right, see right there it says grade number 1, and that's what we have. So we have number 1 grade. What we'll do is I have taken out about 1/2 cup of fish sauce. Depending on the total volume, might be a little more, a little less. I'm going to go ahead and fill up to 3 cups total volume. And then I'm just going to pour this water and fish sauce on the noodles. And it's okay if it doesn't cover them right at the first, because they're going to start getting soft on the bottom and they're going to sink down. And we need that. We need our noodles to get right before we can do much more rolling. So we're going to get these and set them aside. Now, while the noodles are softening up, we're going to prep a cucumber, and I'm just going to peel it. The English cucumber is rather thin, so if you wanted to leave the skin on for a little color, that probably wouldn't be a bad idea. But I'm just going to go ahead and do this, and we'll slice it up in lengthwise little sticks, and we'll go from there. The cucumber is prepped, and it's cut in lengthwise just about as long as the imitation crab meat, and that allows us to have little sticks. These are a little bit large, but they'll work. They'll do what we need them to do. Next thing we do is wash and prep mushrooms. Let me just show you this. Our noodles are done, these little rice noodles. See how they turn white on us? Let me get one out here. All right. Now, one of the ways that I like to consider them done is watch. I'm gonna pull. See, it's gonna be a bit springy before it snaps, because it is a rice noodle. I gotta tell you something. Now, you can use water if you're in a real hurry. You can use water and then put it in a container like this, and microwave it, kind of get it up to temperature. Now it's going to be a real, well, it's not going to add much flavor. You get the flavor from the fish sauce, which adds salt and some other things. So that's maybe why you want to adjust your your recipe a little bit. But a while ago, part-time cameraman Ian came in from IHOP, where he's visited with his buddies, and proceeded directly beeline right through the building. And the reason is because, this doesn't bother me, but, I got fish sauce in here. And if you're familiar with fish sauce, when you make this recipe, you'll figure this out. I'll go ahead and heat it up anyway, because I don't really care. But if you've got a delicate stomach, maybe you ought to stick to either using just straight water or just letting it set till it gets good and done, because otherwise you might lose your cameraman. Anyway, we're going to go on from here. And here are the noodles. And I'm going to leave them in the sauce, get ready to roll, because we are literally ready to roll. And what we need next is to make up our water for the roll, and we're good to go. Now I've got the water here. It's covered in the previous video. Got my little wrapper. And we're just going to get it soft. Now, you know that Ian coming through and getting a good dose of the fish sauce, running off like that, kind of reminds me of that old song. Goes something like, I had a good friend in New York City. He never called me by my name, just Hillbilly. My grandpa told me how to live off the land, and his taught him to be a businessman. He'd send me pictures of the Broadway nights, and I'd send him some homemade wine. Okay. All right, get up in there. Get up in there. Now we've got the crab, and we're going to put a little piece of cucumber on there. Going to get a little bit of mushroom. Get a little bit of this here green coriander leaf. Lay that in there like that. Fold that over like this. Roll that in. Get up in there. Take this edge, roll it around. And there we go. Now we are done. We've got these with cilantro. We have these without cilantro. We're going to take a little bit of our sauce. If I can get the top off. Take it. Put it in there. And we are ready now to do the demonstration. Just take it, and dip it. Now that right there is good. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time. Thank you very much.